In 2002, the Queen of Rahad, Queen Teresa, issued a statement on her birthday that said that water was a fundamental natural resource to her country, and declared that as a developing nation suffering the effects of extreme drought and climate changes, Rahad had the right, and indeed the obligation, to seek out ways of using that resource to sustain their people. Having said that, and even after scientists advised that extraction of water from the Inara aquifer should be made with care not to deplete it, Queen Teresa announced on February 2003 that
our nation is confronted with a very grave dilemma, and I want all of our people to understand how your government is proposing to deal with it. We simply do not have enough water to sustain our farmers, who grow our food and provide our sustenance, and there is no obvious solution to this problem that is economically viable and practically possible. None, that is, except one. I am today ordering the Bureau of the Interior to begin the implementation of a comprehensive program to extract water from the greater Inara aquifer.
In 2006, after submitting their project to the World Heritage Committee, the Rahadi government initiated drilling through the Savali pipelines, a network of 30 pump wells located in Rahad's northern territories to be connected by a subterranean pipeline system, which would provide a reliable source of water to Rahad's farmlands and natural gas industry. The water pumped through the Savali pipelines came from the Inara aquifer. In 2009, Athenian farmers in the region south of the complex reported that wells, springs, and small streams were drying up, and land that had been rich and arable 5 years earlier was becoming dry and difficult to farm. In addition, a study revealed alarming short and long-term consequences for agriculture in Athenia. Meanwhile, by late 2010, foreign tourists began posting photographs on Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag #KinCanyonScrumbling. These images showed what appeared to be environmental degradation in remote sections of the complex. Weeks later, Athenian geologists unanimously agreed that there had been clear structural degradation of the canyons and the stronghold within Athenia, attributable to the depletion of water in the aquifer. The Athenian government's website announced that sections of the complex were being closed to visitors immediately to ensure their safety, as followed after a request made by President Venn on June 2012. The UNESCO World Heritage Committee added the Kin Canyon complex to the list of World Heritage in danger. Due to the shortage of water for farmers, the Athenian Parliament enacted in 2012 the Water Resource Allocation Program Act, RAP Act, which set a quota on water supplied by the Athenian Public Water Works, a government agency, to every household, farm, and business in Athenia. Under the RAP Act, all farming operations were also required to purchase licenses to utilize public water. The RAP Act empowered the Bureau of Agriculture to prosecute anyone who used over-quota water and farming operations that failed to obtain licenses under Athenian Criminal Code provisions for theft of public property. The adhesion to the program, however, was low. Some of the prosecuted for not having a license argued that their cultural traditions prevented them from seeking permission from the state to make use of natural resources, claiming that the law discriminated against kin. In October 2013, the Athenian Parliament amended the RAP Act to provide that farms using the water in violation of the Act were subject, in addition to the existing criminal penalties, to the termination of their state-controlled water supply. Invoking those procedures, by the end of 2013, the government of Athenia cut off water to the majority of farms in kin lands. On 17 July 2014, Carla Dugo, one of the elders of the Sisters of the Sun, chained herself to a flagpole in the plaza outside the president's residence in Atanagrad, the capital of Athenia. She told reporters that she was engaging in a hunger strike to protest the Athenian government's persecution of the kin through what she called the theft of our water, our food, and our way of life. She also called on her fellow sisters to stand together and remember Tepa and the true meaning of the siprak that we proudly wear. Within 2 weeks, over 5,000 Sisters of the Sun, hundreds of kin and their supporters had congregated in the plaza. The crowds refused orders to disperse, and on 2nd August 2014, the mayor of Atanagrad described conditions in his city as chaotic, unsanitary, dangerous, and entirely unsustainable.